Greetings and salutations. Another episode of the Fangs Up Podcast here, but we're going to do this on YouTube. And this is one of our segments that we're going to have on the show where we talk about the recruiting that is taking place at Florida A&M University. And the big thing that happened this past weekend was the HBCU Mega Camp. Technically, the Florida HBCU Mega Camp. And it's its inaugural year, first year ever doing this. And it was really huge. I would speculate about 400 to 500 students were there. And it really proved itself to be beneficial for those who came out, who braved the heat, and who were able to sustain themselves throughout the process. We're going to answer a few questions, though. First question was, what was it like? Why would a student want to come to a camp like this? What was the outcome? And then FAMU and recruiting, obviously. This is about Florida A&M University. What was the camp like? It's Florida, y'all. It's Florida. It's really the summer. It's been the summer for about 2 months. It was 95 degrees when I left. When I got there, it was about 89, 90, and that was very early in the morning. I left about 3 o'clock. So it was hot. Fortunately, a lot of students were hydrated. We had kind of long lines there just because we had quite a few students who walked up, but we also had students who registered, and some of the stations there, again, first year doing this, some of this is a learning process, but once everything got running, it ran very smoothly. My favorite station, honestly, was the defensive back station. I played receiver when I was in high school, and I personally love watching receivers play, but the DBs had just a different level of competition there. And it was really fun to watch them compete and then also kind of work as a unit as far as coaching as well as the students that were there that came for the camp. Now, why would you consider attending this camp? To get recruited. I mean, that's kind of like the long story, brutally honest point, but you would also want to go to this camp so you can compete. Competition breeds excellence. And we see that when people compete, we get a better product. And one of the reasons that the coaches want to see you come to this type of event and this type of activity is so that you can compete against the best that are here. And we saw that if you looked at the one-on-one drills, whether it was the receivers or the offensive linemen, we were able to see that when the gentlemen competed, those that were the best, they stood out amongst their peers. And we continue to see that. And we also saw that those that were the best are the ones who came out getting some offers either at the event or after the event. Now, what was the outcome? Again, the outcome was that the students got exposure. They got exposure not only from individuals like me that were covering the event for different media companies, but they got exposure to the coaches. The coaches got to learn their names. They got to see their height. They got to see their weight. They got to see their speed. And the coaches were, if you looked at the FQ FAMU Twitter page video that I shared with you, the coaches were right there watching them do the 40. The coaches were helping them as far as instructing and teaching different skills that they may utilize later on. Now, they weren't trying to recruit them and tell them to come to what particular school. They were actually saying, hey, this is how you throw the ball here. Let me run you through this drill, and giving all the students equal time and fair treatment. It was a really good experience. I also enjoyed the quarterback session. I am somewhat biased because Coach Simmons was over there, and he was just showing out. Coach really was looking awesome, looking amazing. But in the secondary drill, that was Edward Waters and Bethune-Cookman's coaches. They looked really good as well. You kind of got to see where some of the coaches had their different specialities, and it showed up in the individual areas. Now, lastly, how does this affect FAMU and recruiting? Because obviously, I do have a FAMU bias. Today, we see that students were visiting Florida A&M University. How do you know this? Well, if you're following HBCU Digital or the FQ FAMU Twitter page, it's been blowing up all day. Now, mind me, I'm going to look at my computer screen over here, but Rod Gainey, he is a running back from Tampa Tech High School, and he got an offer today. He went on a visit. He was also at the camp. So we're starting to see where some of the students that were at the camp got offers. Another one is Demir Blakely, tight end, about 6 foot, 200 pounds. He also got an offer. And when I looked at his page, as far as his Twitter page, there was no huddle link. There wasn't a lot of those kind of snazzy things that you look for when you're trying to follow some of the recruits. Part of it was the fact that he was exposed to the coaching staff. They saw something he liked. He was already going up to FAMU for a visit. And now all of a sudden, during his visit, he gets a little bit more attention, he gets a little bit of a look, and now it's easier for the coaches to be able to follow him, and for those that are in the know to be able to follow him now. We saw a lot of that, and we saw a lot of the students that were able to post videos against good competition, and to also be able to share their progress going forward. And hopefully these type of events continue to happen, and we see students from Florida continue to come to our schools here in Florida, whether it's FAMU, my favorite, BCU, Edward Waters, or Florida Memorial. And again, we saw other schools that were there though. Alabama State was there, Benedict was here. We also saw Howard came down here. I mean, different universities from across the landscape of historically black colleges and universities came to Florida to this camp. And again, there were about 400 to 500 campers that were at the event for the betterment of the day. You had it in 3 sessions. You had the transfer session. That was the early morning session. The second session was your skill positions, where that's receivers, cornerbacks, and your quarterbacks. And the last one was the big men, O linemen and D linemen. And each group got to get a little bit of focus, and you got to see some of their videos, and some of the videos looked really good. So going forward, we're going to see more camps like this. FAMU has a camp that is going to be in Tallahassee on Saturday, and you're going to see the big man camp and some of the other camps that are going to be taking place. And again, these are opportunities for the students to not only compete, but to get seen by coaches from different schools. And that way the students aren't saying, well, coach, you never talked to me. You never spoke to me. Now, a lot of these camps do have a nominal fee that is attached to them. But if you're really chasing your dream, as y'all know, it costs money to make money. So that being said, I appreciate your time, y'all. We're going to talk more about FAMU recruiting and FAMU athletics on the FAMU FQ Twitter space, but we're also going to do that on the Fangs Up podcast. I normally drop those on Sunday. Look out for that. And we're going to continue to drop videos. We're going to get into a preseason display where we talk about the different positions that are related to Florida University, and what is some of the makeup? What are some of the snap counts? Who are some of the guys that you and I should be looking for as the season progresses? That being said, thank y'all as always. And it's always going to be Fangs Up. And thanks again to HBCU Digital.